Hello, welcome to episode 4 of my Regal Ace save on TEW IX. My name's Mick Cooper. If you are just joining it for the first time, we're 4 episodes in now. This is a local to global save. It's based on the idea that in 1992, as opposed to going to the US, Steve Regal borrowed some money, set up our Empire Wrestling group, based out of northwest of England. The idea being he was going to promote, champion, lead British and European wrestling as a hotbed, and promoting talents from the Brit Wrest and European scene above all. I've been running these episodes as a kind of review of our bi-monthly tournaments which are going on, and that's what this episode is going to be. I'm going to talk about the Flyweight tournament, the 205 Flyweight Classic, wrestlers under 205 pounds has just finished. I'm going to go into a bit of the world stuff and also book our pay-per-view. The Flyweight Classic final for 1997. It's October, so we're obviously 5 years in. Hope you've all had a lovely week. Then if you haven't seen it yet, make sure you have a look at the 2K WWE 2K games coming out soon. This isn't a promotion. Not nowhere near well enough for that. But the new CM Punk model for it has got his old ROH theme in. So the AFI track, and that will be the choose a wrestler theme, choose a wrestler music for every creator that I can do. It's a shame you can't do music. I don't know how that would work in TW, whether you could select songs for people or not, or how that would work. I think we need a much bigger kind of jump up in terms of the AI for it to be interesting. Anyway, so Flyweight tournament was our third ever Flyweight tournament. And here's how Block A finished. So it was won by Kid McCoy, who went undefeated for the whole block, except for a draw. Time limit draw with Doc Dean, who also had a really good tournament, picking up his only loss to Jody Fleisch in a bit of an upset. I'm continuing my attempt to try and push Jody Fleisch and move him up the card, but still nothing sticking, unfortunately. And sadly, Fleisch ended up injuring himself at the end of the tournament. So he had to drop out of his last match, which was to Johnny Storm. So Jody's finished a little bit lower than was originally planned. Damien Stone, you might be looking at that name thinking, if you really paying attention to the last episode, thinking he wasn't in the tournament. He is. Damien Stone is Little Guido, Nunzio. I decided that the name Little Guido didn't fit right for Empire Wrestling. So I've had a look into the real James Maritato's background. He was trained by Billy Robinson. So I've hired Billy Robinson to be Nunzio's manager, and he's been renamed Damien Stone, which is one of his old gimmicks that was available in the game. And I just felt added a sense of it's a nice strong name. So Damien Stone is now in our Flyweight Classic division. Did well for the whole tournament, only losing to the top 2. Johnny Storm and Fleisch, Mark Sloan, who had a good middleweight classic, had a respectable run of it there as well, and then Rocky Moran and Steve Quintain with 6 and 3 points respectively. Steve will be leaving after this tournament. He was brought in just for this one. I've hired him before for Empire. He's never really done great. Rocky Moran, I might keep around. I like Rocky. He's done well, so I think he's done enough to earn himself a proper spot on the contract, on the roster. So Kid McCoy will be facing in the final in Block B, Rollerball Rocco. Perfect again, exactly the same. Yep, exactly the same score. Undefeated except for a draw with Spinner McKenzie. Andy Blair and Psychosis both finishing on 15 points. I said in the last episode that I was going to give Psychosis a really good run in this because he's done some good matches. And in case you're wondering, in terms of Psychosis, doesn't feel like promoting British talent. He's not. He got brought in by All Star Wrestling in like 92 and just moved over here and never left. So in this game, he's a wrestler who's pretty much relocated to the UK now. And I'm happy with that. He's not going to win a title, but he's going to at least have a bit more of a respectable run than he would have done previously. So Spinner in second place, Psychosis and Andy Blair finishing second. Psychosis with a bit of an upset victory over Andy Blair as well. Frankie Sloan finished ninth with 9 points. Grasshopper with 6. Grasshopper will be leaving after this tournament. He's been complaining about all of these losses, so isn't going to do very well. Mike Flash Jordan, again, I've not really kind of been won over by him. He's had a horrible tournament. I'll be honest, I only bought him to mess with him at Hammerlocks because he was Hammerlocks Cruiserweight Champion, so I figured sign him on an exclusive contract and then job him out in proper Vince McMahon style. And Zebra Kid, one of the Knights, finished with just 3 points. So, our final in the Empire Classic will be Rollerball Rocco versus Kid McCoy. That'll be taking place on the pay-per-view this week. I've also got a number of different things lined up, which I will go into when I'm booking the show to show you. However, there's been a bit of a change that I want to make you aware of. We've got our next pay-per-view after this. Our next tournament is our Samovar Trophy, which is our open weight, open classic, open bracket. Everyone can enter, 32-man knockout tournament. And I'm open to bringing in people for just a month or two just to boost the names. So Colonel Brody will be coming in as a proper tryout to see how he does. English wrestler. He's been mainly wrestling in Europe. I've not tried him before because I've been worried about there was something I was worried about with him. His physicals are okay. His stats aren't great. So we'll see how he does. But he's getting a proper tryout for the tournament. I did have a look, though, to see who was available. And I noticed something interesting with WCW. If you've watched the other episodes, you'll know that I mentioned WCW in this save is being managed and owned by John Bradshaw. He's not doing a great job. WCW has fallen to small. Now, interesting twist on this is because they've fallen to small, WCW can no longer offer exclusive contracts. So anyone who is getting re-signed either is leaving WCW or is having to go onto a handshake-only contract, which is really messing with their roster. So, I've brought Ultimate Warrior in, but then hadn't realised that he was injured. But I figured bring him in anyway and benefit off the merch rights. And this is only for 3 months. I'm not going to bring them in as proper people, but it's just going to boost the pop the tournament for a bit. So Warrior's coming in. I am very tempted to sign Jim Ross. Oh, that is tempting. I hadn't even considered that before now. Shall I bring in Jim Ross? So, not interested in working in the UK. However, I would imagine he probably is if we ask him, so I did. And let's bring him... Okay, Flair likes it. Let's bring him in on a handshake deal for a couple of months. For the tournament. And we'll see how he sits with Nick Parry, our main commentator. And see how that works. That could be a big win for us. It'll be interesting to see as well, because when we do this, it tends to highlight to bigger companies that this talent's available. I've not gone for Dustin Rhodes or franchise Shane Douglas, despite the fact I am a big Shane Douglas fan. Douglas and Dustin just aren't very popular in the UK at this point, so wouldn't really help me. Although both are weirdly popular in Ireland, specifically. So Dustin Rhodes, I think we'll show you this, is in a very sort of similar popularity. So again, not very kind of mid everywhere else, but weirdly popular in Ireland. I don't know why that is. I'm assuming WCW have got a really good TV deal there. But I am going to bring in DDP and Barry Windham as kind of for the tournament next month. Quick check on Goldberg while we're here. How's his streak going? It is still... Spoiler, I have seen this. He is still without a win. So Goldberg, 8-0, yet to pick up a victory. Although he is now fighting Dustin Rhodes and Rick Rude, so and Barry Windham. So they're giving him good stuff. But yeah, 8-0 for Bill. I'm just finding that quite funny for some reason. So allow me to bring in some people who I wouldn't do normally. There's no one on there I'm really going to be interested in from a long-term perspective until Steve Austin's contract comes up, because I will make an exception for Steve Austin because he's friends with Regal in real life and has relocated to Scotland in this save. So I feel perfectly okay bringing him in next year, I reckon, unless WWF come in for him. Because I've also said that's if the bigger companies come in for him, I'm not going to go for it. The other one to be aware of is in '97, Savage is their biggest star. Randy Savage has confirmed he is leaving WWE. If I was doing, I suppose, a normal save without it being Empire, I'd already have put the offer in. But my rule is with this is they've got to be unemployed before I go for them. So we'll see in 18 days whether we can go try and get Savage or not. For big talent like that, because otherwise I can just hoover people up. I can just hoover it up and completely change who I've got there as well. We lost out on Rick Steiner for that rule, and I'm okay with that. Ken Shamrock and Minoru Suzuki are both going off to MMA fights, so I'm going to let Ken Shamrock go off this. He's not done enough to keep him. And we brought some new refs in as well because we lost Mike Warren, so I've overcomplicated it and brought a load of new refs in just to boost our referee roster as well. I think that probably shows us enough to play with before we book the show, so let's go ahead and book the Flyweight Classic. I did have a pay-per-view a month ago and ran it as a rare international pay-per-view. So we had a pay-per-view in the US, during which time I had title defences for all of our belts except for the Flyweight one. So every belt is now a world title except for the Flyweight, which is still a British one. Give night off, skip over that, select location, probably keep it in Northern England. Oh, we are being oversaturated, but that's not a shocker. We're always oversaturated. How many fans would we get? We're expecting 17,000. What would we get in the UK? Okay. Let's bring someone in. For a big pay-per-view, let's do London for this one. Pick best option, Earl's Court. Finalise broadcasters. That's fine. Everyone gets our pay-per-view deals. We'll skip over the booking so we've got enough to play with. Locker room incidents. Let's have a look. Butcher Bond and Chris Curtis at the Barney. Power Uti and Johnny Storm. Power Uti I'm going to let go as his contract's coming up soon. I've done nothing with him. And James Mason and Max Ward bonded. That's nice. All good to go. Address locker room. Again, we've got some upset people, so keep the open forum. And you can see, I mentioned last time, we got it down to 4. Now we've got some more upset people. I brought Tatsumi Fujinami back in as well, who I've had in and out of Empire over the years. He got let go by All Japan ages ago and relocated to the UK. And I bring him in for short bursts, but not long, because, like I said, the whole point is promoting British staff, and he comes in and will be there for a job. So, first of all, let's book the first match, which is the Flyweight Classic final. Unlike the Tag Classic final in the last episode, I've got no illusions about this being a main event, but it is a good way to open up the show. So, titles are Empire Classic Flyweight, and I will make this a technical masterclass because it's a good way to. We need for our product, we need to have a technical masterclass, and we need to have a steal the show. So with Rollerball Rocco in the ring, particularly, and Kid McCoy, let's have them both doing a technical masterclass to open up as our first match on the card. If you put the technical masterclass too late, the crowd don't buy into it, so you need to open it up with the show, and that's kind of the thing you need to look out for. The more you play things like TEW, is what things work as well. I'm going to keep the notes pretty sparse because we do have now some. We'll make sure they've got a good ref. We'll make sure. See, we've got some really good road agents now as well. We'll make sure they've got good road agent, good ref. It's an important match for us. But you see, this is where I can see Jim Bross doing. Comes in to replace Joey Styles. Feels very early 2000s. But that'll be our opening match. Yes, because I'm going to go back in and change that before we actually press go. But that's just to show you guys, because I don't want to have it as a spoiler for it on there as well. We're also, on this match, going to have the winners of the Tag Classic finally cash in their shot, which would be Ted DiBiase and Doug Williams cashing in on Mike Weaver and Ulf Herman, Das Weaverman. I can show you this one because I did say that I'm not going to have them winning, so no spoiler on that. But Empire tag belts, openweight tag. Let's have Mike pick up the win. Let's have Ulf pick up the win because Mike's a major star at the moment, and Ulf could do with a boost. Loser will be Ted DiBiase because I'm not having Doug drop the fall. Keep it as a regular match. That's not going to headline. We'll keep Doug strong because I might do something with him going forward on it there as well. Open title match there as well. Going to keep everything else clean because you can go into it more detail. It's something I'd recommend doing when you've got a low quality kind of road agent, but when you've got really good road agents in this game, let them do their thing. My only worry is this is going to be is can DiBiase do 20 minutes or not? I need to be at least 20 minutes to keep the fans happy. Oh, hang on, what have I done wrong there? Oh, I've tried to give him the tag title. I've tried to give him the classic as opposed to the tag belts. Good. Glad the game catches stuff like that. Oh, okay, that's good. I was worried that DiBiase wasn't going to be able to do 20 minutes. So those are the big matches we're definitely going to have in, and I'm going to now book the match now because I think it can get quite boring on these saves if I just rattle through it. I'll show you what I've got booked before we launch into it, and we'll see how the match goes. So I'm going to pause it for 2 seconds. 3, 2, 1. And we're back. Okay, so this is what the Empire Classic Final 97 is going to look like. We've got a pre-show, got a 5-on-5 tag to open up, which is very much a use whoever we haven't used match. Going to try the Damien Stone and Billy Robinson tag team for the first time against Ricky Knight and Steve Quintain, who I think are a real tag team in WAW in Ricky Knight's promotion. I might be wrong on that, but I think they've tagged before. Dave Duran versus Colonel Brody to give to Colonel Brody a proper first run out on the pre-show. Then got the Flyweight Classic final, Kid McCoy versus Rollerball Rocco. We've got a Team WCW versus Team Empire tag, 5-man tag. We have a Battle Royal 15-man. So I've not got a Battle Royal on the pre-show because I'm doing a Battle Royal on the main show, which is Johnny Angel defending his U30 Classic title. Now, for those, if you can't remember the first episode or didn't see it, Johnny Angel is our under-30s champion. He is miserable in the company. He hates being here. He's been putting on rubbish performances ever since, both before and after we've given him the belt, so he's not improving. So I'm going to get the belt off him, but I'm going to get off him in a Battle Royal, and I've let the bookers decide who it is, because it's probably going to be Bosberry, because he's the only other name in the Battle Royal, but I have said it so that... Well, I'll show you what I've said it as. It's a storytelling match with Johnny Angel being the first elimination. The idea being that in my head that these guys would all just get together and throw the champion out to start the match. And I've just realised I've got Damien... Oh, I've already used him. Oh, that's annoying. Well, he's not booked too much. Let's have him... Like I said, I'm liking how he's doing. And technically in this save, despite the fact in real life he is American... According to this save, he's Italian, so he's European, so therefore he qualifies as one of my European talents. Got a nice singles match, Johnny Kidd versus Stan Hansen, triple threat for the Flyweight Classic, for the Flyweight title, Diamond Shondell in a triple threat match against the two losers from either block. So Spinner McKenzie and Doc Dean finished second in their blocks, so they're getting the title shot, but as a triple threat. The Middleweight Classic will be defended by Danny Boy Collins against Robbie Brookside. Anarchy Inc. will get their tag title shot against Das Weaverman, having won the Tag Classic. And in a main event, Fit Finlay versus Steven Regal versus Chris Curtis for the world title. It's going to be a big show. Let's see how we do. The last pay-per-view got an 80, so we're kind of hoping for a big one. This top 4 or 5 matches... That's where the points are going to be. Here we go. Wish us luck. So, pre-show match, we had Andy Blair, Chris Adams, Johnny Wilson, Tatsumi Fujinami, and Gary Beware beat the face team of Johnny Wilson, who was from 1820, against Black Tiger on loan, James Mason, Mike Flash Jordan, Rocky Moran, and the Zebra Kid in a 5-on-5 match. Andy Blair picking up the win over Zebra Kid. 61, not a bad pre-show match. Damien Stone and Billy Robinson beat Ricky Knight and Steve Quintain. He didn't do great, did he? I was really hoping for a little tag bonus in them, but there's not a negative. So they don't have bad chemistry. They do have bad chemistry with Ricky Knight and Zebra Kid, despite being father and son. So I'm not including them for that reason. We have Dave Duran beat Colonel Brody. Colonel Brody hasn't done well. We'll see how he does in other matches, but it's not a great start for the Colonel. But a solid pre-show, 60s all round there, feeling good about the pre-show. Everyone's warmed up. So, technical match. Kid McCoy wins the Empire Flyweight Classic, gets his title shot in the future, having beat Rollerball Rocco, 23 minutes, 82. That is a great start to the show. Great performance from both, 70 and 75. I love Rollerball Rocco in this save. He's doing so well. But he's been champion before, so he doesn't need it. But 82, great match there. 72, as Team Empire, Buffalo Braheny, Butcher Bond, Dave Taylor, and Jean-Paul Levesque beat Diamond Dallas Page, Ric Flair, Kerry Von Erich, and Rick Martel, as Buffalo Braheny beats Kerry Von Erich by lariating his head off. Good match, 72. Wasn't expecting much from it, but it's done well. That's good. In a match that had terrible injury, Johnny Angel won the... Right, I set the standards here that Johnny Angel would be the first eliminated. That's annoying. So, the agents have overruled it. Fine, he keeps the title. Who was it he last eliminated? Last eliminated Boz Berry and Paul Terrell, who are... Paul Terrell's doing well as well. Okay, fine. 59. If agents ignored me, fine. I'll come back and find out who the agency was that. Johnny Kidd beats Stan Hansen in 74. This pay-per-view is doing well. Stan Hansen was 78. Great match, that. The flyweight title, Diamond Shondell beat Spinner McKenzie and Doc Dean in a triple threat, 77. Shondell with an 83. He's doing so well. That's really good. Doc Dean's been up and down as a singles. I'm really pleased with how this pay-per-view is going so far. Okay, now the last big matches. Danny Boy Collins beats Robbie Rookside. Number 3 defensive middleweight title, 82 and a 75, 84 from the match. We are doing well here. Can these last 2 matches deliver as well? 80. Das Weaverman beat the Anarchy Inc. Ted DiBiase pinned. Mike Weaver carried the match with an 82. Ted DiBiase, Ulf could have been better. That's why Ulf Herman doesn't get pushed as well. But 80. And in our main event, Steve Regal beats Fit Finlay and Chris Curtis. Oh, look at this. 96. Finlay with an 88. Regal 92. Chris Curtis. This is going to be a big, big scoring pay-per-view. I was going to do just Regal versus Curtis in the main event, but Curtis can't go 20 minutes in a singles match, so I brought Fit Finlay in. That is a great... We're going to get, I reckon, 85 at least for this show. Wow. 94, that's going to be one of our best pay-per-views ever. This is it. It had a nice flow. We had big title matches, big things happened, booked well, massive main event. Really pleased with this. So let's give address to the locker room. Got to give it to Fit Finlay. Got to give it to Chris Curtis. Incredible match from those two. We'll give Kid McCoy a hug for having won the Classic. And who else did well? Let's give it Danny Boy. Everyone's happy. When you get to big, you get to do 4 of them. Earlier in the game, you only get to do 3. Financial report, we made 2.1 million from that show. taking us up to 30, just under 32 million in total. Popularity boosts in the UK, which is a big thing for us, because some of our TV shows do not go anywhere near this. We're up to 10 in Japan, despite having no TV or any presence there at all. Boosts across America. That's nice to see. Yeah, really happy with this show. You've made a re-sign Billy Robbins. What plans do you have with him? We'll play it by ear, because it's Billy Robinson. Empire Flyweight Classic considered a success, huge success, whole roster proud. One off. Will you be making an effort to keep Kevin on the roster? No. So I'll be polite and say wage demands. Word is Mal Mason's annoyed at life in Empire. How will you address this? Mal Mason was our head referee until we signed Mick McMichael last month, who is a better ref. And if you don't make your best ref your head ref, they get upset. So I'll talk to him and try and talk the issues. So Mal's upset because he's not that. Das Weaverman have held the title for 6 months. Yeah, vital part of the tag scheme. And that is done. Massive pay-per-view. I hope you've all enjoyed that. I'm genuinely pleased with how this has gone. We've had to be quite clever on it in terms of that show, but it's worked out very well. So yeah, that takes us to the end of the episode. I'll be back probably in a week or so with a full rundown of some of our trophy final, and then so that'll be the next episode, and the episode after that will be the end of 1997, and we'll do a full review of 1997, how that's gone across the world there as well. We move into 1998. I've been keeping an eye on some of the names who'll be debuting. So sort of your Dean Allmarks, your Sheamuses, your Drew McIntyres, will all be debuting in the next year or two. I think Rampage Brown debuts next year. Dave Mastiff will be debuting around this sort of time. Johnny Moss will be debuting around this sort of time. It's that kind of oldest part of the current scene are going to be kind of all coming through between 98 and 2000. So we're going to start seeing some really sort of more and more talent coming through, and hopefully give me somebody who can challenge Regal for his world title. Regal, as you've seen, still doing great guns though. Quite frankly, on this, I should have given Diamond Shondell because he did so well. I could give Diamond Shondell a world title shot at this point, but he's doing very well as my flyweight champion. So, on the next pay-per-view, we'll also see, will Kid McCoy dethrone Diamond Shondell or not? Who knows? That'll be a big win. Either way on that. But yeah, I hope you've all enjoyed the episode. We'll see once this comes through on this here as well. We'll see how everything has done in terms of the news, and then we'll call it an end. 20,000 awesome reviews too, right? We did. FMW ran a show on the same night. Ring ran a show in London on the same night as well. That's probably not a great decision. That's something that TEW could do better at, is in terms of another company is running the same area at the same night and it impacting it. WXW have got Perry Saturn and Rocky Maivia. See, I'm not signing Rocky Maivia. I could sign him. I could sign like Rock, Rey Mysterio, Eddie Guerrero, all doing really well at this point in this game and completely signable. But I'm stopping myself doing it. Chris Adams gets a new contract. Yeah, absolutely. We'll renew our TV deals. Mike Flash Jordan contract's going to end. Don't care about that. Butcher's pushing JC Ace. Big pay-per-view deals. Big buys. Psychosis is the money. Strap a rocket to him. Okay, Ulf. Well, we're trying. In terms of our overview of the roster, has anyone moved up on the back of Leicester recognisable? Any names? Like I said, we've got Levesque up to recognisable, which he wasn't from the last episode, so that's good. No, still no one else on there as well. But we'll see how it goes. Anyway, that takes us to the end of the episode. Hope you've all enjoyed it. We've got a nice little plan of what the next couple of episodes are going to look like. Any comments, let me know. Anything you want to see on this, any questions or booking ideas or things we want to keep an eye out for, please put it in the comment sections and I'll address it on the next episode. But until then, have a lovely week, everyone. Look after yourselves, be safe, and I'll speak to you soon. Take care.